there are people who had nothing but time on their hands to sit down and just think about life. They didn't have no technological devices to keep them distracted. You know what I mean? They didn't have no television, no iPhone, none of that, no laptop, none of that. It was just their mind and their body and their spirit. And they sat and they pondered, they thought. Now, if reincarnation is real, you might be an incarnation of one of those great masters, gurus, monks, and you are now present in the now, and you're dealing with all of this, right? You're feeling the pressure on your mind, and it's translating into your environment. But within yourself, you know too that there is this alignment, this clarity that you ought to tap into. So you don't feel the need to run away. So you don't feel the need to want to escape. You can transform from within where you're at. And you've been searching. You've been doing that which would get you to remember who you used to be. And you're remembering through these teachings. That's why you're stumbling across the crumbs on the road. And these crumbs are the teachings that were stored in some cave, right? That was stored in some temple. And thanks to technology, it's online. So now you're finding yourself stumbling across these crumbs, and it is reminding you, and you are remembering. It's not so much about remembering the physical vessel. It's more about remembering that state of consciousness, right? You are now tapping back into that state of awareness. You are remembering, and you're now integrating that time frame in the now so you could better manage your time, better manage your resources. You are understanding the difference between matter and spirit, and you're staying in spirit while traveling through matter. We're grateful. We're grateful. And so as we are frequency beings, frequency in motion, looking to integrate our awakenings in real time, we must take advantage of this ancient wisdom that is now meeting modern life. It is now meeting the present time. And we're seeing that at first. Maybe once we were under the religious programming, there was friction between this ancient knowledge and how we felt from within ourselves and how we could translate it into the now. And now we're seeing it clearly that there is really no friction. We are present. We are here. It doesn't matter where we find ourselves at on this planet. We can always integrate wisdom that has been proven to be timeless, wisdom that has withstood the test of time. And it came out pure, that which is the same yesterday, today, forever. That is the real wisdom. And we're realizing that we cannot spend all of our time reading books to find truth, right? We cannot spend all of our time reading books to find truth. So we must just align ourselves with the reality of the truth that is already within us, the uncorrupted version of truth within us, which is the eternal self. There are a lot of people that think that the self is not really in sync with the all in all, the all above all. Now, we do know that there is the ego self, and we do know that there is the self that sits as the foundation on which everything else is emanating from. And we know that it is only by staying true to self that we can live in alignment. By connecting with self and staying true to self, we don't have to spend time reading thousands and thousands of books, because we know that this knowledge of truth, this knowledge of transformation came about through beings who were in alignment. So once you get in alignment, you are in the knowing of this knowledge. If you read, it is now just for your own entertainment. If you read, maybe it is just to expand vocabulary, right? It is just to be able to understand the vocal technology, to be able to apply it within your own mind, or maybe to express it to somebody else so they can better understand it and apply it and see internal results. But yeah, here we are as we are moving forward. It's not even so much about paying attention to the time as it is constructed by man. It is now more about making sure that we are so aligned within ourselves that we are not willing to compromise. We are not willing to bow to that which we know down the road would affect us individually and collectively. I'm sure you're seeing it. You're seeing it clearly. So take advantage of the fact that your mind is seeking truth. Take advantage of the fact that your mind is sensing that something isn't right. Your mind is telling you that you ought to be in a state that feels far much more better, and a state that you can actually protect through discipline, a state that you can actually have control over. You tapped into that peace, the peace that came about from higher knowledge, that came about from faith. You are integrating your awakening in real time. And so that means that entities in the form of frequencies that might live inside of your mind that are getting you to not really experience the fullness of this alignment, you got to kick them out. Any frequency within your mind, any thought pattern within your mind that you know is weight, you know you got to kick it out. It cannot live within you. That way you can truly stand strong and be firm from within first. As we know that the delusion is intensifying, and as we know that more and more people are going to be falling for the delusion, if we are not really rooted within ourselves, and I mean rooted in truth, then that means that even we stand the chance of being knocked by the illusion, right? And so now we've gotten to that point where this is no longer about us getting caught up in the distractions of pointing fingers, getting caught up in the distraction of trying to label this person as the good or the bad person, but it is being so strong within ourselves, having so much clarity, being super aligned to the point where none of that stuff would distract us or throw us off course. That is the whole point of us tapping now back into that ancient knowledge that existed. Not so complicated, right? It's not about trying to read the stars or, you know what I mean, trying to tap into sacred geometry. It is not that complicated. You know, we have teachers like Yeshua that was able to simplify it to the point where even kids understand it. You know, Yeshua was able to break down that technology to the point where even kids could fellowship in the kingdom. It wasn't something that was meant only for certain adults who've attained certain knowledge. Nah. And so we are integrating that pure awareness in real time. And you with me. So we're going to stay in alignment. And if we feel shifted, we're going to get back in alignment and we're going to continue to refine. Remember, stay focused, stay grounded, and stay aware. Sending you love and higher light. Oh, please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. If you watched it up until this point, really, I love you. Subscribe to the channel. That way we could stay connected. Much love.